Hello and welcome. I'm Sandra from Sandra's Stamp and Craft Studio. Today I'm going to be showing you how to use a 12-inch piece of DSP or 4 smaller 6-inch pieces to cut the most economical way to create some beautiful cards. Okay, so I'm going to put you down onto the desk and join me for some crafting. So first of all, as a card maker, do you ever get overwhelmed by the fact that you've got this great big piece of paper, a 12-inch scrapbook piece, and you don't know where to start? So the first thing I'm going to do today is to introduce you to a template I've made to make life a little bit easier and make it more manageable. So I'll take 3 of these away and we're going to cut our piece of paper into a 6-inch piece that we're going to work with. Today I'm going to be using these beautiful papers from the Best Dressed Designer Series paper range by Stampin' Up. When I first start this project, I take a piece of the whole size cardstock and I cut those in half. So here we have one of each of those colours that coordinate beautifully with my papers here. And next I take a matte layer. So I make a matte layer the size of the card that I'm going to be doing. So I've got one of each, and then I will decide which ones I want to mix and match together. This is the combination of colours that I'm going to be using for my base cards and my matte layers. And then I will be now showing you how you're going to cut this paper to fit to make your card. This is a 6-inch square of scrap paper that I've cut how I want to do this layout for my cards. So I'm going to have one piece here that will go across the whole length. So I'm cutting this, first of all, I will cut down here at 4.5 inches and cut that piece off. I will then cut half that piece at 3 inches each. So that will be in 2 pieces. And then the remaining strip here, you can either use leave whole, or you can cut down depending on the size. If I use note card size, then I trim the end down. I'm going to lay one piece of the Designer Series paper with each one. Now this is the longer strip that I left earlier. When I worked out which colours I was using, I have actually made a longer matte layer for that one. So we're not going to use this one on this occasion. We're actually going to make that one as a tall card. We're going to swap this one round and we're going to make that a landscape card. Now the sentiments, I take a matte layer out of the centre of my matte layers. Cut a couple of images from here, so making sure that the edges are kept free. So a bit like scrapbooking, we're going to gut the middle of that card. So now I'm going to be matting those onto my cards. So I will speed this up to save time. So I will do them one at a time. So there's just one little snip wastage from that strip of paper on this one, and I just need to cut off that tiny piece. So we have just made 3 cards with only this tiny piece of wastage from a 6-inch square of Designer Series paper. So I'm going to go ahead and do the sentiments. So when I was cutting my matte layers from my cardstock, the middle layers, I was left with these small scraps of card left over. So these are the ones that I would use for my sentiments that go with these papers. I decided not to use the yellow in my base card, so I'll remove that one from my selection, but these are the ones I would use. Where possible, if your greeting will fit on the ones you punched earlier, then you could use those on there. So I'm just going to decide which way I want to do this. I'm going to have a long greeting on this one. So I've saved a piece to do that for. So that is bringing the third colour in. I try and bring the third colour into each piece. So that would be the third colour in there, and the green would be the third colour in there. Today I will be using the Peaceful Moments sentiments, and I will be using Thinking of You with All My Heart and Thank You. I will be stamping them with the Blackberry Bliss ink pad. For my middle greeting, because I'm using a dark coloured card, I'm going to be embossing this one with white embossing powder. So I'll use my Dust Buddy just to wipe over that surface. I'll use my Versamark ink pad to ink up my sentiment. This one will be Life is better with a friend like you. This sentiment now needs to be heated with a heat tool. I have now trimmed that greeting down to a smaller size, and we're going to notch in the edges just to make a little bit of a flag. So I need my glasses on for that, my reading glasses. So I'm going to snip this. Hopefully you'll be able to see this on the camera. So I'm going to snip into the centre and then snip each side to that centre point. And the other side as well. So snip from the corner into that centre point and you have a perfect flag. We'll repeat with the other end, and there is my sentiment ready for that card. So we'll pop that one on there. For my sentiment on here, these two either side, I like to sponge the edges. So again, I'm using my Blackberry Bliss ink pad, and I have my sponge with a piece of the cardstock on the end there, so I know that it's the same colour. And I'm going to just sponge those edges. So I'll grab my piece of scrap paper again, because I don't want to do this onto my cards. When you go down here like that, you can get some splatters onto your card surface. So I will just go around the edges with the ink and a piece of sponge. I will be using the Timeless Tropical flower here, and I will stamp 3 images, one for each card, and then die cut those images out. So we have a piece of scrap card and my Blackberry Bliss ink again, and I will stamp 1, 2, and 3. Here we have the corresponding die from that same stamp set and die bundle, and I will just cut those out for you. So here are my die cut images, and we are ready to build our cards. So you will need some Stampin' Dimensionals, some 3D foam pads to pop on the back of your sentiment. Okay. So the flowers that we're going to pop on there now, I like to shape these in the palm of my hand. So I use my knuckle, or you can use the lid of your Tombow glue and just press that in there, just to work some shape into it. Okay, I usually find my knuckles best, so just to press into the middle there, just to give it some shape on each one. It's just quicker because you've got, there we go, one on there, and one over there. So we just stamp these with the ink. If you wanted to, because they're water-based inks, you could actually colour these in with a water brush and it would bleed those colours a little bit further for you. So those are the 3 flowers that we're going to put on those. And again, each one of those I'm going to raise up on a foam pad. I'll put one on the back of there. One on the back of there. It just helps to keep that shape formed. And one on the back of there. There we go. So that's those finished with. Okay, so there's our 3 cards. And I have some rhinestones to go in the centre of those, some Stampin' Dimensionals. So I think I will go for the size of the flower and the card. I think I'll go for the middle ones. Again, my tweezers come in handy for lifting those off. So here we have our sentiments and flowers attached. The last thing I'm going to do is just to punch out some leaves from one of the scrap matte layers that I had. So I'm just going to punch out 3 of those leaves. Okay, they just pop those out. And another one. And that's that finished. So again, with these leaves, I like to shape them. So I take my tweezers and hold them down the middle and shape them upwards. Take the leaf in the tweezers and squeeze it upwards, and again squeeze the middle and take it upwards. So I'll do that with all 3 of those. So using my adhesive, I'm just going to put some adhesive down the spine. Hold that so that I can still get to it, and then I will just tuck that one through the back there, just behind my little flower. I don't want to flatten the leaves, so I'm just going to hold the tweezers just to press that in the middle of each of those. There we go. Just keep them a little bit raised. So again, I'll hold with the tweezers on the top of the leaf, and I will put adhesive down the centre, and the centre, and the stem, and then just tuck it behind this one. I don't want to put the green on the green, so I think we'll go this way of the actual flower, because the green on the green wouldn't be seen very much, would it? So just press that down a little bit in the middle, and just in the centre there, and then again with the last one as well. So adhesive down the centre and down the stem. It's going to come in from this side there. So just pressing on those middle sections, we'll just let that stick, and the stem is underneath there as well. So I hope you like those cards. I'll just hold those up to the camera so you can get a full view. So that's my first one. This is with the purple Posy cardstock. This is the landscape one with the old olive cardstock and some embossing, and then this is the last one with the Blackberry Bliss base card. I hope you've enjoyed those cards, and all 3 have been made from just one 6-inch piece of designer series paper. So with a whole sheet of a 12-inch sheet, you'll be able to make 12 cards from one whole sheet using that template and that pattern. Okay, so I will put the links in the description below, and I hope you will subscribe and like my channel so that you will be informed of future Stampin' Up cards and projects that I am sharing with you.